deciding on a general improving move, king h8. And it's probably, in retrospect, it turns out that this is quite a serious inaccuracy. It is too slow. It is time for our rapid recap for the tiebreaker and the game that we are choosing. There's no question about it. Dominguez against So. This was an epic game. At this point in the match, they were tied. Dominguez easily holding the first game with the black pieces, and of course, feeling pretty ambitious with white. So let's see how it all happened. Now, this started off as a mainstream Italian. Dominguez this tournament has been refraining from playing the Rai Lopez, instead has gone for the Italian. And the line that they play is this newish line with A5, which has been popularized by FIDE and Hikaru. Black prevents B4. The downside of that move is that it weakens the B5 square. And after a couple more normal moves, bishop B6, there is this move, bishop B5 Ketty. That's a pretty unpleasant move. And I'm a little bit skeptical about Black's position in general in this line.
Yeah, I hear Black went a bishop from C5 to A7, and he kind of continued what he has planned and what he has prepared. And we thought that he's spending no time on the clock. He knows what he's doing. He's well prepared, as he has been played this line earlier too. Also brought this knight from H5 to F4. But Dominguez was quite okay with everything, as he also decided to bring the knights all the way to G3 and then F5.
Yeah, and in order to prepare knight F5, Dominguez first drops the bishop back to C2 in order to cover that square. And after queen D7, knight F5, Wesley going F6, solidifying the pawn on E5. At this point, Wesley was still playing instantly. Bishop E3 is the move that gave him pause, probably not in his file or couldn't remember it. And here we thought that the clearest pathway to a complicated but probably dynamically balanced position was the immediate D5. The strikes at the center. The point is that white can't take on D5 because the knight hangs, and it's just a very complicated position. We were thinking about queen B1 here, and the engine evaluates this as approximately equal. But instead, Wesley deciding on a general improving move, king h8. And it's probably, in retrospect, it turns out that this is quite a serious inaccuracy. It is too slow, and it gives Leinier a chance to transform the pawn structure to his favor. Get a d takes e5. Now, d takes e5 leads to a pretty unpleasant endgame, takes, and for instance, rook d1. But f takes e5 allows Leinier's knight to jump into the game with knight g5.
Yeah, after knight g5 here, Wesley decided that it was time to play very active and complicated position, as white's pieces are controlling all the board, and he went d5. And after d5, here Dominguez captured the bishop on e6, Wesley captured it back, and bishop takes bishop over there, pushes queen now on the king side, and we have a beautiful play by Dominguez here after queen g4, as he's threatening g3, h4, h5 to get more space advantage on the king side. And he's not also forgetting that he can bring the rook from a1 to d1 to hit the center, just in any case.
Yeah, he's got massive pressure on both sides of the board. And although the knight on f4 looks nice, it's constantly falling victim to this g3 idea. So Wesley's position already very unpleasant. There was this move b5 we thought might have been the best in order to get this rook into the game as quickly as possible, but a very difficult move to see. Instead, Wesley's starting to panic. He goes queen f6, and Leinier patiently gets his rook into the game, and now h5. Quite possibly the decisive mistake. The point is that Black should wait for white to go g3 and then go h5, because at least there the h3 pawn is a little bit weak. As it stands, after h5, queen f3, queen g5, this is just a one-move threat. Leinier parries it with queen g3. You can't really trade queens here, because at the end of the line, you're going to lose all of your center pawns. So Wesley dropping his queen back, king h2, another very patient improving move, rook a8, queen f3. And now Ketty, g3 is a huge threat. So Wesley feels like he has to take immediate action, and he goes knight h4. But this doesn't end up helping.
He goes for knight h4, and you know what? After knight takes the knight, queen takes the knight, and there's no g3, and there's not a fork, as h3 pawn hangs with a check. Instead, he went e takes d5, and the idea of e takes d5 is just to open up the bishop on the long diagonal, and sometimes just to get this queen on e4, on d3, and threat a checkmate. But let's be honest, it's not easy to make such a move. It takes d5 when there is still a pin on f5, and that's where white's strongest piece is located still.
Yeah, it really isn't easy. And it's not easy because Wesley has a tactic here that he played, which looks very, very strong. Now, his last chance to stay in the game was knight takes d5. And after queen d3, yeah, he's in very, very bad shape. Leinier can actually grab this pawn on e5 because queen f4 check can be parried with queen g3. But Wesley going for one final attempt. Knight takes g2 looks like a very powerful move because you can't take the knight, you get pinned. But Leinier had seen this and he goes queen d3, cold-blooded, threatening checkmate. Wesley intercepts this with e4, rook takes e4, queen takes f2. Now the move of the game. A lot of people would panic here, but not Leinier. He just goes king h1, just gets out of the pin, and the game is immediately over because he's threatening rook back to e2. There's going to be a mate threat on h7, and there's nothing the black can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Rook f3 allows rook e8 check. g6 allows rook e2, and rook takes g2. Wesley ends up going knight h4, but of course, Leinier picks it up. g6, and now the final flourish. Rook takes h5, check. This leads to mate on the next move. G takes h5, queen h7, and if the king moves aside, then the queen captures on g6 with mate. What a phenomenal, phenomenal game, Ketty, to win this match.
This is the clearest win I have ever seen in the rapid game by Dominguez. He just made it perfect to start the game and end in this with a very clear calculation.
Indeed, and that was your FIDE Grand Prix Rapid Tiebreak Daily Recap. Excellent job by Dominguez. Now we look at the results here. Richard Report and Leinier Dominguez advance against Wesley So, against Wojciech and Wesley So, respectively. Two wonderful rapid matches, and they will move on and join two other players in the next stage in the semifinals. And the semifinals, Teddy, will start tomorrow. And we have, I will be doing the RCC with Robert, but you'll have a pretty weak co-commentator.
Yeah, I don't complain. I don't complain. Tomorrow at the Grand Prix, we're going to have Vishy Anand joining me. And we are going to do the commentaries together for 2 rounds in a row. That's very exciting. I'm sure a lot of our viewers would love to see Vishy commentating at this event. And also they are going to take a look at the rapid tournament that Robert and Danny are going to commentate.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for Vishy. I think you're going to have a great time. And I had a great time today. Once again, it's always a pleasure to commentate with you. This was a relatively short day, but it was a sweet day. It was a day full of action. And I hope that everybody enjoyed the game. So as always, we'd like to thank everybody joining on Twitch and on YouTube. Lots of people cheering on your favorite players. The next stage starts tomorrow. And Ketty, a big thank you to you as well. This was so much fun.